tell me a little bit more about the GCSE process. So when is the best time to start preparing?
Well, I mean, that's very variable. What you certainly don't want to do is leave it until after the mock exams in year 11. A lot of schools now start the GCSE syllabus in year 9 rather than in year 10, so it's spread over 3 years. And whilst you wouldn't want to be putting pressure on your child to revise for all of that time, what you do need is you need to build up a habit of consistent small efforts. So when it gets to year 11, people end up drawing up these revision timetables where they're going to do 2 hours of this subject, 2 hours of that subject. And as teachers, although we like the fact they're wanting to revise, what we really wish all pupils would do is just from a much younger age, get in the habit of 10 minutes a day, maybe not every day, but maybe 5 days a week, they're just going to pay 10 minutes attention to something. So they work for 10 minutes on something, get to a stage where, oh, fantastic, I managed that question now, I know what I'm doing. And then the next day, just go back to it for 10 minutes. Can you still remember? If you can still remember, then can you push that a little bit further? And these little droplet effects of your work are really going to build up and turn you into a much more effective mathematician.
So you say about consistent effort and, a little bit at a time, but when they do get round to revising, how much revision would you actually recommend?
It depends very much on the child and on how confident they are in the subject and how confident they are on all their different topics. So when we get to year 11 and they're saying, oh, I'm having pressure on me to have an exam timetable, I need this, I need that, I need the other, what they certainly need to be doing is looking at past papers. When it comes to the mock exams, very often that is a huge shock to the system for year 11s. They might be predicted grade 5, and then in their mock exams they get a grade 3, and suddenly they're really stressed and anxious about that, because with a grade 3 they know that they'd be heading for resits next year, they wouldn't get onto the courses they want, and it just feels like this insurmountable step. So looking at exam questions well in advance is really good practice to do, and building that up. And exam questions can be a very scary thing to look at. There's all the different wording, there's the fact that you look at it and it leaps from topic to topic to topic, and half the time you're not even sure what topic you're being asked about. So it's really important to start looking at those with someone who can help you pick them apart. When it comes to amount of time, it might be that you could have an hour looking at something by yourself one day, and then for the rest of the week, you're spending 10 minutes a day going back to those little bits. So you've got a big chunk followed by lots of little consistency. What you don't want is a 2 hour block and then don't look at anything for a fortnight. And one other thing I would really warn against is, say you decide, oh, today I'm going to revise trigonometry. You print out a worksheet and do a full hour doing trigonometry without checking any questions. If when you go back to look at it, you've got every single question wrong, then it might well be that all you've done in that hour is consolidate your misunderstandings. And then someone will need to spend time with you to help you unpick all that. So you're far better when you start revising a new topic, look at it, try a question that you know you can get the answer to from somewhere, and then check it. Once you've checked it, if that's okay, try another one, but keep referring back to either a person or a list of worked solutions somewhere, so that you know what you're doing and you're not going off on the wrong track. Going off on the wrong track can be more harmful than not doing something at all.
So you've mentioned some really good tips and tricks to help revise. Are there any others you could offer?
I think the main thing is that you actually need to do the maths. In lots of subjects, the way that people might revise is with flashcards, with writing notes, with underlining and highlighting things. For maths, you're quite limited in how far that will take you. There are a few formulas that you absolutely need to know, and there are little ways that you might remember those, little sentences you might say. I know lots of people have little songs in their head for certain formulas, but beyond those formulas, you actually need to do the maths. So if I sit down with a textbook and start reading and go, oh, let me revise how to do this, pretty quickly my brain ends up switching off, because reading about one technique after another, if you're not practicing it, it just ends up going in one ear and out the other, no matter how good your intentions are. So if you pick up a revision book and you say, tonight I'm going to revise this, once you've read something about how to do a topic, apply it. You have to try some questions and try some questions on that, and then try some different questions on that, and then see if you can find an exam question. And once you've done that, that topic's not done. The next day, the very first thing you should do in your revision is go back. Can you still remember how to do something from the day before? So it's definitely about being active, and you can't just highlight. That's not going to cut it for maths.